Oh, good. Okay, everybody ready, guys?
Yes.
Over there, that street boy.
We're all very
silent.
confident in Jeffrey's
Yeah.
videoing skills. So
I should give him some extra.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Alright, no, joking. So, the other day that would be complain that somebody has some extra points just because taking the video. No, I'm joking, guys.
Oh. No, no.
Okay, so male reproductive system. Let's see what are the structures, the organs that you have to know in the male reproductive system. Very easy, I think, very straightforward. The first ones are the gonads. The gonads in male are what?
Testicles.
Testes. So what you have in here in white, where my finger is the testis. And when you open it, inside it you can see the seminiferous tubules that you are not responsible for, but that's good to know that these coil ducts that you have here are seminiferous tubules.
which one?
This one.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oops, sorry. And then the scrotum is what?
The thing that covers the test.
That's the pouchy
okay.
skin here, which covers the testes and protects the testes outside the pelvic cavity. So you can see that testes are outside the pelvic cavity because the temperature they need is lower than the body temperature. So this is the scrotum.
Is it the brown thing?
The brown thing, the
Okay.
pink thing, where my finger points here. This is the scrotum. Okay. Everybody. There. This is the scrotum. Okay. And then on the top and at the inferior part of the testis, this structure is called epididymis. What's the function of epididymis?
Produce the
Sperm maturation.
Sperm storage and maturation happens here, all the way here, from here to here. This is the
little
epididymis. They are not just the dots, the whole tubes and the cord, the structures that you can see here. This is the epididymis. Epididymis, all the way. Do you see that, guys? Messi?
Yeah.
Adam? Who's here? Hello. Do you see that? This is epididymis. Okay. And then you guys know that after epididymis, I mean that the sperms are produced here inside the testis, inside the seminiferous tubules. From there, they go into the epididymis. They store there for a while for maturation, and then they go where? Biniam? Ductus deferens. This is the ductus deferens. Look, it goes all the way here. It goes to the posterior part of the urinary bladder, where it joins the ducts of the seminal vesicles. So all the way, what you see here, the duct, the big duct that you can see here, is the ductus deferens, also on this way.
Oops.
Is that the longest storage of sperm?
That's the longest, yes, that's the longest strip of the sperm. Okay, so you can see that, now it's even better. You can see the ductus deferens here all the way. This is ductus deferens. Huh, Sama? This is ductus deferens. Hello. Ductus deferens. Okay. And then you have the spermatic cord. The spermatic cord, guys, is the structure, which is actually the cord, as you can guess from there. That's a supportive structure that you can see here, the whole thing. And you can see that inside it you have the blood vessels, and ductus deferens also passes through the spermatic cord. So if I put the pointer somewhere here and ask you about the structure, you will tell me that this is a spermatic cord, right? Don't tell me that this is ductus deferens. Ductus deferens is here. Don't tell me that these are the blood vessels. I'm talking about the whole structure, the whole cord here, which is the spermatic cord. You see that? Inside it you have the blood vessels, you have nerves, you have ductus deferens. But
Where will you
this
put the
structure,
pointer?
somewhere here.
The blue part? Okay, so it won't actually be pointing
The blue
to
part.
the vas deferens. It'll be pointing right
If I want to
outside
ask
of
you
it.
about the ductus deferens or vas deferens, I put the pointer here, exactly.
Okay.
If I put it here somewhere, I mean the spermatic cord. Okay. And then prostate gland. This is the prostate gland. What you can see in pink here, purple here, and then the continuation here is prostate gland. This is a prostate gland. So you can see that prostate gland is located
Just below the
posterior
bladder.
and inferior to the bladder, to the urinary bladder, at the neck of the urinary bladder. This is the prostate. Okay. So prostate gland plus two more glands here, and on the other side, these are called seminal vesicles. So seminal vesicles, prostate gland, and bulbourethral gland together are the glands that we have
The male reproductive.
as the accessory male glands. So do you see these white lines? These white lines are bulbourethral glands. These structures here, this is the seminal vesicle. So prostate gland, seminal vesicle, this is the seminal vesicle. And also bulbourethral glands are like two white lines that you can see here on both sides.
It's not on the paper.
So don't worry about it. But that's good to know. Because the reason that I didn't put it is that in some models they are not, this model is new, we didn't have it before. So in the old models that we have, it's not obvious, that's why I didn't put it. Thank you. Can be dangerous as I say. And then you have the ejaculatory ducts. What is the ejaculatory duct? Combination of what and what?
The ductus difference and
and the duct of the seminal vesicle, duct of the seminal vesicles, and the ductus deferens will join together to make the ejaculatory duct. Where you can see the ejaculatory duct is here, the small one here. This is ejaculatory duct. So this is the ejaculatory duct here. The small one, which is like the small branch from here, that's the ejaculatory duct. Okay. Did you see that, guys? This is ejaculatory duct. All right. And then after ejaculatory duct, we have the prostatic urethra. Prostatic urethra, you guys know that in the male reproductive system, urethra has three parts, right? The first part, which passes through the prostate gland, is called prostatic urethra. The part which comes inside the penis is called the spongy urethra, and in between you have the intermediate urethra, or sometimes we call it membranous urethra. That's the same. But if it's easier for you to learn it as the intermediate urethra, that's correct as well. So this is the prostatic urethra. That's the part of the urethra. This is the urinary bladder, and this is the urethra. This is part of the urethra which passes through the prostate gland, so we call it prostatic urethra. So prostatic urethra, guys, is here. Do you see that? All the way as it passes through the prostate gland. Okay. You see that? Prostatic urethra. And here, for these guys, this is prostatic urethra. Do you see that right now? Prostatic urethra. After prostatic urethra, the next part of the urethra is called membranous urethra. Membranous urethra is between these two, between the prostatic urethra and the spongy urethra, all the way here. So the small part that you have here, it passes through the muscles. Can you see the muscles? So the small part which passes through the muscle is called membranous urethra, or intermediate urethra, if you like it better, like intermediate urethra, because it's intermediate between these two. A small part here where it passes between the muscles. This is the membranous urethra. This is the membranous urethra.
That's you.
So everybody's good? Membranous urethra. And then the last part of the urethra would be spongy urethra, which is the largest part of the urethra. Urethra, as you know, in male is much longer, longer, not larger, much longer than the urethra in female, right? So all the way here, the longest part of the urethra is where it goes inside the penis. And you know that, I will show you that here you have the spongy, corpus spongiosum, that's why we call it a spongy urethra. Okay, so all the way here you have the spongy urethra. This is the spongy urethra all the way. Okay. This is the spongy urethra.
All the way to the opening.
All the way to the external urethral orifice. That's right. From here all the way to the end. Okay. Did you see that one? Did you see that? So if I put the pointer, I will show you in the camera. If I put the pointer here, you will tell me that what's this is if I put it on the branch, I don't mean the prostatic urethra, I mean the ejaculatory duct. So that's important. If I put it here in the middle, you will tell me that this is prostatic urethra. If I put it here, that's the membranous urethra. If I put it anywhere here,
Spongy.
I mean the spongy urethra. Okay. And then in the penis, you know that you have two erectile tissues. One of them is called corpus spongiosum. You know that this is corpus spongiosum because it's just around the spongy urethra, and that's why this part of the urethra is called a spongy urethra. This is corpus spongiosum. This is corpus spongiosum. You see that?
Both sides.
On both sides.
Okay.
Corpus spongiosum. Here and here. Here. And here. Not here. So let me show it to the camera one more time to make sure that you know it. This is spongy urethra and the spongy urethra, just this way. But this is not the spongy urethra, corpus spongiosum. But this is corpus cavernosum. So they look alike. Make sure that you know it. This is corpus spongiosum on both sides, but this part on the top is the corpus cavernosum. Makes sense, Genesis? This is corpus spongiosum on the top of it. Here, this is corpus cavernosum.
So the pink.
Both of the thing is that both of them are in pink, so color is not a good way to distinguish between them. Know the location. That one, which is just next to the spongy urethra, is corpus spongiosum. The other one on the top is the corpus cavernosum. And also make sure that you look at the other male reproductive system models that we have. I may
Do you have
use.
them on one side or you have them on both sides?
You have them on. You have just one corpus cavernosum, which goes on both sides, but you have two corpora sponges. Good question. And then these are the erector structures inside the penis, and that's the end of the penis. This part of the penis, it's better seen than the outside. This part where it says number 7 here on it is the glans penis. The glans penis is the end part of the penis here, number 7 on this model. This is the glans penis. And that's where we have the prepuce, which will be removed during the circumcision. And then finally, the last thing that we have to know is the end of the spongy urethra here, where you have the opening here. This is called external urethral orifice. Like what we have in female, the end of the urethra, when it opens to the exterior, is called external urethral orifice. Remember that the urethra is the shaped duct. What happened? What's so funny? That the my daughter recently learned from this preschool. Whatever I said, that's not funny. That's not funny. So that's not funny. That's the opening of the urethra, right? External urethral orifice. That's the opening which opens to the exterior. Remember that the spongy urethra, the urethra in general in male is the shared duct between both our reproductive system and the urinary system. But in female, you have the separate tubes. Okay, so that's all you have to know about the male reproductive system. Any question? I will bring for you more models, different types of the models. So make sure just that you will have a quick review on all of them. So if I put a question on any of those, you won't be confused on the day of the test. And then you have just one slide here. I will put that slide under one of those microscopes for you. In this slide, you will look for the seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules in the slide would be like the round structure. The whole round structure is the seminiferous tubules. And then inside it, the first row of the cells, which are on the periphery of the cell, are these cells that we call them spermatogonia. They are mother cells. They will make the sperms. And then the sperms are the cells that you have in the center of the seminiferous tubules, and then between the seminiferous tubules, the cells, any cell which is located between the round structures is the interstitial cell, which is responsible for the secretion of testosterone, or Leydig cell. Interstitial cell or Leydig cell are the same. So I will put them at the pointer for you under the microscope. When you have time, you can take a look at it. So that's the part that we had to cover for the reproductive system. So that's the end of the of the story. Yes,
The end of the
except
journey.
for the fetal pig dissection. So